Okay, hello people. We're about to do exercise 3D2 question 2. And I'm going to draw the function in blue. Right, so we start with the first derivative. These are quite fun, these questions. And we have to draw the original function. Okay, I'm looking for where the first derivative equals 0. Okay, because that's going to indicate things like maximums and minimums. I find it really useful to draw a sign diagram of the first derivative, even though I've got a picture of it here. So that's me. It doesn't say I have to do it, but I'm going to anyway, right? And I've got positive gradients for x values smaller than -3, right? So this is telling me what my gradient values are, and they're positive. Then they go negative until 1, and then they're negative again. So stationary point at 1, and we've got negative, negative. And we know that if you go from positive to negative gradient, you must have reached a maximum. So there's got to be some kind of maximum here. Max. Let's put an arrow on that. But what about this? Negative to negative. Negative gradients, they're 0 for a minute, then they're negative. That is a stationary point of inflection. All right, one other thing that's worth adding. See how this negative to negative, this inflection point looks like a maximum on the gradient function, right? It's a local max on the gradient function. And when you see that, you will have a point of inflection. I've got one here as well. It's not stationary. So in here, there's a point where the shape changes from concave down to concave up, right? I'll just delete those. Another thing that's worth saying is I don't know how high that max is, and I don't know exactly where this point of inflection is. I don't know if it's going to be up here, right? Sorry, I haven't drawn that particularly well. Let me have another go at that. I don't know if it's going to be there or if it's going to be down there. Or maybe, maybe it's right even on 0. I can imagine this sort of coming in about 0, going flat for a minute and then going down. And, well, I mean, it can't be up that high if this function's coming down, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you have room to move there, just like this max, is it up there, or is it just down here, or is it even higher? Like, it doesn't matter where you draw it, because we don't know. There's no way of knowing exactly how high up it's going to be, right? Now, at this point here, we are changing shape though, so we're going from concave down to concave up. Oh, and then we go flat, and then we go down again. Oh, it's not the best. I'm trying to show a stationary point there. Maybe I should have made it lower down. I feel like as long as I can start getting the concave up shape happening. So this is concave down to that point about here, right? So it's got to be concave down to there, and then it starts going concave up, and then flat, and then down again, right? And that could be my stationary point of inflection. Now, maybe it's higher up, maybe it's a little bit lower down. I don't know, and it doesn't actually matter, right? Final comment, that purple, that first derivative, what does it look like? It's cubic, isn't it? Right? It has degree 3, right? There's x cubed behavior in this, right? And in our function, what would our function be? Our function would be quartic. It has an x to the power of 4 at some point in the function, right? All right, last one. Let's start where the derivative equals 0, there and there. Let's draw a sign diagram of that. And just be aware, this maximum on the first derivative, well, that will be a point of inflection. But like I said, let's look at the sign diagram. Okay, so we have negative values before we get to minus 2. Then we have positive gradients all the way across to 4. And then we have negative gradients. All right, so we're going downhill and then up, right? So the function will be decreasing, then it will be increasing. And here we're going to have a maximum. Okay. Again, where we choose to put these is somewhat arbitrary. Maybe I put the minimum down here somewhere. It's not giving me a lot of room. There. Now, at this point here is where I'm going to have to change shape from concave up to concave down until I get to my maximum right there. Okay, so we've got min here, we've got max there, and if I've drawn it right, all right, this value here, maybe it's about x equals 1, that should be a non-stationary, trying to write, if you're wondering, stationary point of inflection, right? Point of inflection, right, to use the British spelling. I normally write CT there. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. Now I do have a worksheet with more practice, and there's a couple of questions on there that I thought were a bit trickier than what's here in the book. Anywho, thank you for watching.